The Akavish Kerak were a species of sapient arachnids. They stood about 1.2 meters tall and resembled giant spiders. Like real spiders, they had 8 limbs, 8 eyes, large mouths, and pedipalps on either side of their mouths. They lived in a place called the Void Fire Nebula. Located in what would later be called the Palamut sector of the expansion region in the galaxy, the Void Fire Nebula was a dense maze of gases and crystal structures that were hard for most species to navigate. The Akavish Kerak had almost no trouble navigating the nebula, however, thanks to their incredible spatial awareness, which gave them an ability that some called innate astrogation. The innate astrogation that the Akavish Kerak possessed was partly biological and partly due to their connection with the Force, which they called the life web and the weave. By tapping into the life web, they could not only navigate hyperspace easily, but they could also manipulate the physical world around them. This enabled them to become master builders and engineers, which earned them the nickname Arachnitects. One of the first things the Akavish Kerak built were the Titans. During the Age of Vernal Splendor, a golden age when the Celestials still ruled the galaxy and the Firstborn races were just beginning to reach out beyond their homeworlds and toward the stars, the Titans were constructed to aid in the building of galactic civilizations. Tragically, the Titans ended up being corrupted by the evil god Sithlan, whom they called Invictus. They rebelled against the Akavish Kerak, who had to seal them up in another dimension called Ilathurion. Sometime later, the Akavish Kerak created 2 living sapient energy weapons, the rod-shaped, tumbling, iridescent Quicks, and the spherical, precise, shimmering Sparks. During a pan-galactic, interdimensional war called the War of the Temporal Planes, the Quicks and Sparks were deployed as defense mechanisms capable of creating energy fields to protect entire sectors of space. By far the most celebrated creations of the Akavish Kerak, however, were their vehicles, most notably the Keracraft, high-speed spaceships equipped with some of the earliest hyperdrive technology in the galaxy. Years later, the Rakata would appropriate and reverse engineer the Keracraft hyperdrives, among other technology, to design their own early and very powerful hyperdrives. Like the Dwinawagwin, the Akavish Kerak eventually withdrew from the wider galaxy, preferring to stay in their native Voidfire Nebula, where they set up the Crystal Web Station. Around 4 years after the Battle of Yavin, an Imperial representative named Daran Tal came to the Voidfire Nebula, stayed with the Akavish Kerak, and, because he was unable to pronounce Akavish Kerak, gave them the exonym Lucents, which would be the name the rest of the galaxy knew them by from that day on. Lucent, along with the Crystal Web Space Station, Daran Tal, and the Voidfire Nebula, first appeared in the Crystal Web Space Station, written by Bill Slavicsek for the role-playing game magazine Polyhedron. The geometric shapes in my drawing are a reference to the magazine's name. In Supernatural Encounters, they are conflated with the Arachnitects, who first appeared in the 6th episode of the 2nd season of the series Final Space. These crossover combinations are very common in Supernatural Encounters. The name Akavish Kerak was invented by Joe Bongiorno, the author of Supernatural Encounters, from 2 Hebrew words, Akavish, spider, and Gavish, crystal. Here's my illustration of the Akavish Kerak. I'm really proud of this one, especially the color choices and the background. That's pretty much all I have to say, so until the next video, once again, peace out and may the Force be with you.